Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we are making a jumpsuit. So I want to make an explanation before we get into the cutting of the patterns and all that. So when making a jumpsuit, there's something important you have to do, which is that when taking your measurements, you have to take your measurement for your lower waist measurement now. So if you have watched my video on how to take measurements, you will see that I explained that we have the upper waist and we have the lower waist, which is the upper waist is always like just one and a half or 2 inches after the under bust. This is the under bust. So the upper waist is always like 1.5 inches or 2 inches afterwards the under bust, while the lower waist is always like 4 inches, at least 4 inches after. So when making your jumpsuit, do not use the upper waist. Always, well, I can't give it as a rule, it depends on what you like. So but I always prefer that you use the lower waist. So for this now, the upper waist for this is the under bust is 12.5. so the half length now, or should I say the upper waist here is 14 inches, while the lower waist is 16 inches, or if you want to go 17, your choice, but I prefer 16 inches is actually fine for the lower waist. So after you've actually measured the lower waist, ensure you measure the round waist circumference for that part. Ensure you take the round waist measurement, because there be a slight bit difference between the upper waist measurement and the lower waist. It could be a 1 inch difference, 2 inch difference, depending on what you measure. And always try as much as possible to actually get someone to actually measure you for this part, so that you get the accurate measurement. But if you are one that you're actually sure of your measurements, you can actually do it yourself. But I actually prefer you get someone to actually do the measurements for you, so you get the accurate and the precise measurement for that area. So it is the round measurements you get here that you'll be using as your round measurement for your waist throughout your pattern, for the trouser parts and for your upper part also. So you have to put that in mind, so you do not forget. Whereby you use a different waist measurement for the down part, then use a different waist measurement for the upper part. So try and put that in mind also. Now for the picture that I'm using to make this outfit, it actually has a band, but I'll not be putting a band to mine. So as when I'm putting a band also, I decide to use that 14 inches, add a 2 inches band, then make the down part of my jumpsuit. I hope this is clear also. So let's get into the cutting of the jumpsuit pattern now on our fabric. So this is the fabric I'll be using. It is 3 yards. So let's cut the down part of our jumpsuit first. So this is my fabric. I folded for my front pattern for my jumpsuit. That's the down part now. So I just want to do this upper part that will serve as my waistline. So I'll be starting my measurement from here. So now I'll take my vertical measurement. So normally for waist to hip, for a normal outfit now, or for skirts and normal trousers, I use 8 inches, which is the standard. But for jumpsuits, you'll be using 9 inch. So I'm using 9 inch for my waist to hip here. So please listen carefully here. I'm using 9 inches now for my hip. But normally, as when I was making the trousers, I would have used 8 for my hip and 11 for my crotch. So I'm between 8 and 11 is 3 inches. So now that I've shifted it, now that my hip is now 9 inches. So I have to add 3 inches to this 9 inches now, which will give me 12. And to that 12 inches, I'll still add 1 inch to it, which will give me 13. So this extra 1 inch I added is for you to bend easily when you're in a jumpsuit. If you don't want to use 1 inch, you can use 0.5 inch for that if you want a very fitted jumpsuit. But if you want a free jumpsuit, you can use this extra 1 inch that I used instead. I hope my explanation is clear here. So here I place my waist to knee measurement. then my waist to my full length for my trouser, plus my allowance now. So that will make it what, 40 inches. My trouser length is 38, so plus 2 inches allowance makes it 40 inch. This is my hip line. I want to get what the midpoint for my hip measurement. So my hip measurement divided by 4, which is 9. This is 9 inches. So I want to get what the midpoint, which is what, 4.5. This is 4.5. So I'll measure that 4.5 straight down. So that same hip measurement, I want to place it here also, which is 9 inches. This is 9 inches. I also place it here from here, which is what, 9 inches. And also on my crotch line, 9 inches. So on this line here, I'll be placing my waist measurement now divided by 4. So my lower waist measurement now divided by 4. So my lower waist is what, 29 divided by 4. That will give me 7.25. So plus my dart allowance now. That allowance is what, 1 inch. So that will give me what, 8.25. So I'll connect to this place. So on this line will be what, my dart, which will be what, ½ inch on both sides. So my dart length depends on what I want. I can use 5 inch, 4 inch, 6 inch, anyone. So I'll take that when I'm sewing. So now let's work on our crotch. So for my crotch now, I'll be dividing what I have here by 2. Or you can say you're dividing what I have here by 4. So that's what, 4.5 divided by 2. That should give me 2.25. Yeah, 2.25. So I'll place that 2.25 here. Then I connect to this line. So on this line, I'll place my rounding measurements. My rounding measurement is 13. So I'll add 2 inches to 13, which will give me 15. Then I'll divide 15 by 2, which will give me 7.5. So I'll get the midpoint for 7.5, which I'll place on this line. If you've watched my trouser class, you should actually understand what I'm trying to do here. So I get the midpoint for 7.5, which will give me what, 3.75. So because I want it to be a straight cut, on this line, I'll be placing the same measurements that I have here on this place, which is what, 7.5. So I also get the midpoint, which is what, 3.75, like that. And I place it here also. So now I'll connect all the lines together. So I'll be adding 1 inch allowance to all the sides. I'm no more adding allowance to my hem because I've already added it. Now I added 2 inches to my hem already. So I have to what, I stopped exactly, so I have to open up my fabric a bit to get my 1 inch for my sides. Yeah, so I've opened up now to enable me have what, this side for me to add my allowance. So I'll be adding 1 inch allowance to all these sides, to the upper parts, to this side, but no allowance what for this down part. So now I'll cut it out. So this is my front pattern. So let's cut the back pattern now. So this is my front pattern. So the only difference between my back pattern and my front pattern is just the additional crotch curve I'll be adding. So my sides are the same. My side, as you remember, I've already added 1 inch here to this side. So this 1 inch actually is for his and for your normal allowance. So you can use 0.5 for his and 0.5 for sewing allowance. So if you are one person that we want it to be very fitted, you can decide to just, when you are joining, to join everything on 1 inch. But if you want a very free jumpsuit that is not too tight on you, so you join on 0.5, leaving your 0.5 inch is allowance. So remember that for the back also, there will be zip at the back. There will be zip at the back. So I will leave that zip allowance also there. And I'll just be adding, there's already 1 inch by this side already. So I'll just be adding 0.5 to the side, to this place. Stopping at this place. So this extra added is actually a matter of choice, because 1 inch is actually enough for your zip allowance. So you can actually leave it like this, or you just add this if you want to. So yeah, I'll be adding 2 inch. And I'll connect it to this place. So I'll connect here to this place here. So this is all for the back pattern. I'll cut it out now. So this is it. So one thing I'll do is I'll notch my dart area. So I've notched that. I'll notch my knee area also, so that when joining. So this is for the down part. Ready? So let's make the upper part of this outfit. So I'm cutting both the front and the back together. So I'll be folding into 4, leaving my zip allowance for the back. So this is my zip area. This will be my center front. This is my center front, and this will be my side. So this is where my measurements will be starting from. So the next measurement I'll take now is my shoulder to my armhole. That is my armhole measurement divided by 2, which is 7.5. Then my shoulder to my bust point. So my shoulder to my half length now. So remember, we are using our lower waist. So instead of using 14 inches, I'll be using 16 inches. So on this line, which will be my shoulder line, I'll place my shoulder measurement divided by 2. That's 6.5. And on this line, I'll place my bust measurement divided by 4. That's 8.5. So before I create my armhole, I have to slant my shoulder now. So I'll be using 3 inches for my neck width. 3 inches. So I have to slant my shoulder now down by 1 inch. So I'll be connecting this to this. So this is my shoulder slope. Then I'll connect from here to here. So this is my armhole. So on this line, I'll place my waist measurement divided by 4. plus 1 inch, and that 1 inch will serve as what? My waist dart allowance. So remember, my waist measurement here, my lower waist measurement is 7.25 plus 1 inch, that's what? 8.25. So I'll connect this place to this place. So on this place now, I'll be putting my dart placement. So instead of using my nipple to nipple, which was 3.5, I'll be using what I used for the down part of my jumpsuit, which is what? 4.5. Okay, let's confirm. So it will be like, so this is our jumpsuit. From here, this is the center of my jumpsuit. This is the center. Yeah. So I'll measure from here to here what I have, which is what? 4.5. You can see that it's 4.5 on this line. So that is what, because this is my midpoint and this is also my center front. So that's what I'll be measuring and placing on this line. Okay, so now for my neck area, I won't be cutting it out yet. I'm leaving it like this for now. So I'll cut both the front and the back out. So for my back, I'm adding 1.5 inch zip allowance, the same way I did for my trouser part. So, and on the side, I'll be adding 1 inch allowance. So I'll add 1 inch to this side, 0.5 to my armhole, 0.5 to this side, and 1 inch to my waist. So this is my front and this is my back. So the first thing I'll actually do is to actually take my back to the sewing machine and join it together on the zip allowance area. I'll be joining it on the zip allowance area. So this is my back. I've ironed, and this is my front. Place it on it like this. So because it is an asymmetric neck, that means the neck, the sides are not the same. The neck on this side is different from the neck on this side. On this side, we have what? We have an off shoulder. And so I'll be cutting it. Let me put it on the right side. So I'll cut it the right way I'm supposed to. So my curve will come this way. So because it's an off shoulder, I'll measure 4 inches from this armhole area now down. And I do not want the front, like the actual neck depth now, to be too low. So I'll use what, 3.5. So for the wideness of my neck, I'll measure 3 inches. So I'll connect this together like this. Let me see this. So if you want yours lower, you can bring it down lower, as low as you want it to be. So I'll be cutting this. So this is what the upper part. So before opening up like this, do not forget to actually what, notch your dart area. I didn't do that. So that's it. So now let's get into what the sewing aspect. So now the first thing I'll do is to take my dart on all my patterns now. I'll take my dart for my upper parts. I'll take my dart for my trouser part also. So this is the down part for the front. I've actually taken my dart for everything, both the front and the back. But what I want to do now is I want to join my crotch now for my front. And I also want to fix my pockets. I have 2 trousers videos, so I showed in those videos how to fix pockets on trousers. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'll join my crotch and fix my pocket. So I'll fix pockets. So for the upper parts, I'll lose this back and leave it back into 2, and I'll cut facing for it. For my neckline, I'm cutting facing, a very short one for it. So this is my facing for my front, so I'll place it like this. You can see, so and I'll sew on 0.5. So I've sewn, I'll notch. So this is my front. I've ironed. So I'll be adding what's my front to my front down part. I'll be joining them. Remember the allowance I use it 1 inch. Yeah, so I'll be joining them together now on 1 inch. So this is my back. You can see I've cut the facing also and I've sewn, but I left what my zip allowance area. I didn't sew it. Left my zip allowance area. So I notched. So I'll turn, iron, then I'll fix each back to each back trouser now. So this is my back pattern. I've joined each upper part to the down part, upper part to the down part. So now I'll fix my zip and also what, close the rest of my crotch area. Yeah. So this is the zip I'm fixing. So I'll close my crotch from here down, then I'll fix my zip on the remaining part. Remember, my zip allowance is 1.5. So let me show you how I actually go. So this is actually what, 1.5. So when I get here, I'll start reducing my stitch. So I'll reduce my stitch this place to 1 inch till I get to this side. So this place from here to here will be on what, 1 inch. Like that. So this is what I'm closing first. Then I'll leave this place and sew my zip there. So this is my zip. Let me show you how I fixed it. So I placed it in between. Remember, I didn't sew my facing finish. So I opened it up and placed my zip there. I sew it. Then I covered it back with this. Then I closed this place fully and I sew on this place also. So turning it out now, this is what I have after turning out. This. So I iron it. So this is the back after I joined my zip and I've closed my crotch. So now I'll place what's the front on it. That's the right side facing the right side. This is the right side. This is the right side for my back. So the first part I'll be joining is this crotch area. Now this inside. I'll join it. This to this down here. Then this to this place down here. After I've joined that, I'll join my sides. Do not forget to use what, 1 inch allowance. 1 inch allowance. So I said for his, you can sew on 0.5 for his, but I'll be sewing on 1 inch. I'll be sewing on because I want it a bit fitted. So I'll be sewing on 1 inch. 1 inch, and I'll sew this place also on what? On 1 inch. 1 inch. So I've joined the crotch area and I've joined my sides. Yes. So I have this left, my shoulder. So you can see I opened up like this. So I'll join my shoulder on 0.5 to this place like this. So you can see I've sewn. And see I sew. So I just turn it like this. So I'm using my hemming glue to iron this like this. So you can hem So ensure you actually what weave this place or a turn with bias if you are making it for a client or yourself. So I'll put my hemming glue under here and iron. I'll do that round like that. I'll put it under this other side also, so that this will stick to the ground, so that this will stick to the fabric. So the next thing I want to do now is my sleeve. I'm using this net for my normal sleeve here. I'm using both Ankara and this net for my normal sleeve here. And for this part, I'll be using my Ankara also. I'll cut it straight to do what my off shoulder sleeve part. So after which I'll do the hem of my jumpsuit. Remember, I added 2 inches for the allowance, so I'll be taking in 2 inches for that. And that's how my jumpsuit came about. Let me know in the comment section if you actually enjoyed this video. If it has helped you, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, please. It actually give my video more visibility. Help me to give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.